the Talking with Famous People.
Uh, I'll start it. I'll start it.
All right, go. We're recording now.
Okay, welcome to Talking with Famous People. I am the host of Talking with Famous People, host Zachary. We have the host of Talking with Famous People, Eric. We have our famous person, Alex, famous person, Faith, and in the chat we have famous person, Lorenz, and famous person, Metasoap, and Coach A, but he left, I think. Um, so tell us, Alex, when you're not talking or listening to someone, what are you thinking about? What's going through your head?
That's. Oh wait, I just broke that. I clicked the wrong button. I was trying to
you
open the
you
chat.
broke
Um,
everything, Alex.
yeah, I was trying to make the chat viewable because I saw the little thingy there and I clicked on the wrong button. What am I thinking about? I always say the better question is ask what I'm not thinking about. There's always, I don't know. It's anything and everything. I can see a bird fly by and I'll be thinking about where's that thing going, or it doesn't really matter. It's just oddball.
Are you do you feel you generally think about things that are related to your environment? Related to
Uh,
something in the abstract, such as like your past or the future?
Nah, past, yes, sometimes future, yes. Mostly concepts though, like how does this thing work and how does it connect to some other thing, and uh, how does this movie relate to this song over here, or just weird stuff.
I see. Um, Ethan, truth is created or discovered, or yeah, created or discovered.
I think discovered. I think it's objective more so than subjective.
I see.
If you
And
figure out how if you figure out how to answer the question, how does this thing work? Will I be able to answer that question every time I have it?
Mm, my ego says yes. My intellect sometimes says maybe, but I
So
very rarely ever say no.
are you proposing a some sort of cognitive multi-tool that will always answer the question, how does this thing work?
Yes, a process anyway.
What's the
A process.
process? What's the
My
process you use?
my process being first to understand how it works, what are the pieces that go into it, and how does it all fit together. And then once I understand how everything fits together, then to fix the thing is just to understand where that process is broken.
I see. Um, so you find it's important to understand how things work implicitly before you can really even understand how they work externally. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It.
yeah. I always have to understand the why always before the actual way the thing actually does whatever it does.
What other purposes do you figure things out for besides to fix them?
Just pure curiosity. How does that work? How to Why does it do that? What was the person thinking that thought the thing up in the first place? Uh,
Have you?
what problem they're trying to solve?
Well,
That kind of thing.
what proportion do you think about the following kinds of questions? Abstract models about things like law or ethics or morals or aesthetics or whatever. Number two, mechanical functionings, mechanisms, the way that this machine produces this outcome. Number three, relationships and the way the individuals interact with each other and their motivations. You listed, I think, elements of all three of those. How do you rank them proportionally? Which one do you think about most, and which of those three do you do least?
Uh, Even keeping track of the questions is difficult for me because I'm thinking about it so deep. Um,
I'll tell the
how
three things again if you
how
want them.
I would say I remember the abstract of them. I would say number two, the understanding of the things mostly. Number one, the
Mechanical.
secondary, and the third choice there would be third.
So
Uh,
you go for the mechanical first, the abstract philosophical second, the relational third, individual human relationships third.
yeah, yeah, in that mechanical is not necessarily the physical way of the thing, but also how it the concept behind it. but the philosophy and things come secondary to that.
I see. Would you say you're interested in the utility of things then?
That's a good question. I'm interested. Yes, I don't know that that's primarily. I'm always asking why. Why is my primary question.
If
So,
sufficiently motivated and funded, could you figure out cold fusion for us in less than 30 years?
Say the first couple of words of that again.
If
I'll
su-
it cut
if
out.
sufficiently motivated and
Mm,
sufficiently funded, that is to say, supplied with all the resources you needed,
okay.
could you would you do you think that you could figure out cold fusion within 30 years? They say it's 30 years away still. Can you beat
Oh
that?
my! It's been 30 years away for 50 years, so
I
I would
know.
like to try it. I don't think I could probably do it just because I think there are probably greater minds out there that a lot greater minds out there than mine that
Greatness of mind
that
is
would
a
have figured it out
decision.
by
It's
now.
a decision. It's not a thing that you. It's not a descriptor. You have to say, okay, well, look, we just got to get some smart people together and help. The thing is, it's a collaborative thing, right? That's just one mind. You got to go, okay, I can do this
Yeah.
because I'm Alex and I'm going to solve full fusion.
Well, see, you got the key there when you pull out the collaborative thing. That's a difficult thing for me. So uh,
Oh,
I don't know that I would do very well in marshaling other people to help me to do something like that, and I would give it a go. I don't know what difference that makes.
well, Lorenz Walker was telling me he's already signed on to your team, Alex. He's ready to go. He's ready to help you solve full fusion.
then,
Faith,
then
do you have
then we'll
any?
definitely figure it out if he's got it figured out.
Yeah. Lorenz, you got to contribute to the cold fusion figuring out?
I'm not too sure.
Oh, well, he's less certain than I positioned him, perhaps slightly. Faith, are you going to
Alex,
help Alex solve cold fusion?
that can definitely help solve cold fusion. Yes, I think it'd be kind of interesting.
Uh, Tell us how you came across the channel, Alex. What kept you around?
That's a good question. How I came across, I don't know. I think it was just in like a related video, and I think the first one I watched is where Eric was uh, uh, in front of the class talking. It was like INTPs will surprise you or something, and I thought it was really cool and how he interacted with his students and or with the kids in the class. It was more not I'm above you, but I'm just trying to teach you and helping them along and kind of prodding them, like poking them with a finger, kind of thing. And what kept me around is uh, it's I find what you guys say are interesting. Both Eric and Zach both in the videos you posted that uh, makes me think and look at things in angles that maybe I haven't thought about before.
But it's a totally reciprocal emergent phenomenon because there's lots of things that I think we fair to say both Zach and I have been thinking about because people are willing to come on and have these conversations with us and engage with us about these ideas. Most ideas I have are not things that I sit down and I look at I lay out all the pieces in front of me and go, okay, aha, here's where the solution is. It's just something that pops into your head at some random moment, for reasons that you
Hmm.
can't quite ascertain, except that it has a certain sort of slot machine mix of associative stimuli lands, and then the links happen, and then pow, some idea comes out of it. So the more, to me, for any dominant individual, the more engagement like this that I engage in, the more ideas I am able to come up with, or more in depth ways of thinking about it. So I'm saying it's like it's
Mm.
an emergent function of the group.
Yeah, definitely. I think and regarding it's reciprocal to us the sort of environment where we are exposed to new ideas and new perspectives on things because definitely joining Talking Famous People and participating so much has exposed me to a lot of different angles of my own understanding of politics, philosophy, because I'm still developing an understanding in a lot of different topics regarding psychology and everything I mentioned, and having an open environment like this where everyone is generally interested in the same things, and everyone is sort of, and to some extent, we're all looking for the same thing, which are concrete answers and tangible solutions. And
Mm.
I find that getting ideas out into a sort of a safe space, a thought safe space, so to speak, and being able to discuss all of that is freeing. It's very freeing. It's therapeutic for me, you know.
That's probably another positive thing I have to say about I've seen your interactions with the people who you've like interviewed and even with each other that there's always a respect for the thought even if there's not agreement. And in my experience anyway, that's such a rare thing in life these days that yeah, I see this different than you, but you do you, man. That's cool, you know?
Hmm. Yeah, I think that there are a lot of areas which everyone that comes on the show, and even with me and Eric, we don't see eye to eye on, so to speak, on everything. But I think that we all generally recognize that each other have their own autonomy and can come to their own conclusions as competent individuals. And so we respect ideas and beliefs um, as their own ideas and beliefs, right? And in doing that, it does allow that sort of environment where it's we can kind of detach from our views and discuss things rationally and objectively, and then and no one really holds it. I feel like most people get they get easily offended if they start talking about their ideas because they become susceptible to them. You know, they become
But
susceptible.
NTPs don't. NTPs don't. The majority of people here are NTPs. My question is, you've got a daughter. You've obviously got a family relationship, Alex. Um,
Mm-hmm.
do you feel as though you have more successful relationships uh, within closer relationships, like family relationships, or more successful relationships within more distant relationships, like casual acquaintances, in terms of uh, psychic weight upon yourself?
Mm. Oh, that's a good question. I I definitely can say it, the people that are close to me and my family, I care more about what they feel. But when it comes to matters of thinking, I'm less likely to challenge them than I am of someone who is a casual acquaintance or someone who I'd consider a not a close friend but a friend.
So, are you likely to get? Are you likely to have more unresolved conflicts out in the world?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, it's hard to draw a distinction.
You
there's
got
probably a lot
so
of
many unresolved conflicts. Who can keep
there
track of
there
them all?
there you go. There you go. That's a very that's a very true statement. Because I'm always like, well, I don't.
Cigarettes.
Yeah, does it really matter that much? And it maybe it ends up staying a conflict internally somehow. But then I start looking at external to myself, and I'm going, well, does it really matter that much? Is it really worth the bother?
Now, I want to extend that to when you do have explosive or abrasive conflict with people around you, your family and friends. Who do you find is usually the one that uh, puts a band-aid over the situation that sort of helps it, or sort of like recovers the? Are there any? Is it usually just mutual, do you or them usually make the first move, or how does that usually play out? How's it play out recovering from bad or I guess significant conflict with family and friends?
I'd say almost without exception, it's the other person. I'm pretty just like, uh, forgive the French, but I just don't give a shit. When it gets to that point, I'm kind of like, okay, whatever. Or if we come to a point where we're talking after the point of conflict, I'll just tend to ignore it and just act like it never happened, kind of thing.
Hmm. Yeah, I find that I'm like that with my friends, but with family, I feel like I'm always the first one to sort of. Um, I feel like I'm surrounded by like SF types, you know, like
Mm.
my father, my mother. So they have like this like passive aggressive a feeling of something is not right until I recover the situation, until I like
Mm.
apologize, even if I feel I was in the right, you know.
Right. I think I did that for a lot of years in my younger years, and then when I got like late 20s or early 30s, somewhere around there, it got to the point to where I'm like, I'm asking myself, why am I always making this effort? Well, shouldn't it be a little bit? And then it went from me always making the effort to me never making the effort, if that makes any sense.
Did you notice any significant changes once you decided that?
Uh, not define what you mean by significant changes.
Well, I feel that if I
Abraham,
stopped
when
like
you send me
apologizing
messages saying
to
that
my
you are
mother like
done
every time we had a
trying to
disagreement
work
and like sort
with
of
me,
being the one to recover the situation, I
comma,
feel that she would just live in a constant
it
state of
makes me
just passive
worry.
aggressive like
Hmm.
um but I don't know though. I really don't know. I just can't stand that being like I can't stand the hidden emotions type of thing,
Did you
right? Like
Right.
forget that you
when I get
work
the
for me?
feeling that someone is like beating around the bush about something, I
Period.
can't stand it.
And that's
Right.
all right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually when like
You're
and
getting
beating around the
paid
bush stuff, if
exclusively
someone
with
asks
money.
me like if someone comes up to me and they're just like, oh,
Period.
I really don't want to do this one thing. I really wish I didn't have to do this. Like kind of like beating around the bush that they want you
Period.
to do it for them. I'll
Hmm.
always say, I will always respond that, well, I would have done that for you, but since you didn't ask me directly, now I will say no. And
Hmm.
that always like brings about some conflict as well. Like I wasn't saying that. I can't believe I can't
Hey,
believe you
content,
trying to
no.
use me
Content,
like that.
content,
Like me trying
content,
to get you to do something
content,
by not asking.
content, content.
I will willfully ignore people when they try that tact of kind of hinting at things.
Yeah.
I'll just act like I'm completely obtuse and have no idea what's going on. I don't. What do you mean? You really want to do
Hey,
something? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yep. I got to have the direct
content, come
communication.
here,
I gotta
content.
have that shit, and I feel that's why I get my relationship with Eric and with other NTP types is so generally it's conflictive, but it's externally conflictive, right? Like I like where
Oh yeah,
we
that's good.
argue over ideas and stuff like that, but it's not like if Eric wants me to do something, he will always ask me directly, and we'll talk about that way.
Yeah, I think that was a really good statement about it being externally conflictive
Yeah.
because it's that's
It
an
would
easy
certainly be in
that's
my
always an easy
interest to be
conflict to
more
recover from. It's the
helpful
internal
to
ones that
you
are more
in
difficult
your
for
doing
me.
your job.
Anyway, if I don't, I guess don't take them as personally. Maybe.
Yeah, definitely. I feel the same way. External conflicts are way easier to overcome. Uh, so
Your job,
how do you deal with your own emotions when you
period.
do you think you
And you
get
certainly
emotional
are doing a
often?
good job,
Did you used to get emotional when you were younger? Has that
period.
changed? How do you usually deal with your emotions when you're in a sort of like when you feel inclined towards like sad states of mind or things like that?
I've never really have an idea. I don't understand them. It's completely foreign to me.
But,
I'm going like, what? And
and you
so
have valid
usually sad
critiques,
states of mind end up in whatever kind of music, end up playing some blues or jazz or whatever I can find on YouTube
period.
channel of just, but I don't know how
But
to
you
define it
misunderstand
and
why you
how to
work
deal
with
with it
me
really. Never have.
and why you
Go
continue to
something Miles
try to work
Davis
with me,
when you're feeling down.
Yeah, yeah.
period.
Or or sappy stuff, Nora Jones or
Yes,
old Ella Fitzgerald, and just
it's
oddball stuff that I would normally never listen to day, but
cool,
that
and
kind of,
I'm not being very available, and that's frustrating.
I don't know, bluesy kind of stuff, I guess, and just try to, uh, I just wait till it passes, I guess.
We're
How do you find what's your work ethic like? How do you approach doing work in general? Is it very you say it's very
period.
systematic and organized, or is it just kind of buckshot, or how do you usually approach doing work?
I'm in a very stressful work situation currently, so that
But you
differs
work
from my
with me
preferred method.
because you work for
I'm
me,
usually 900 miles an hour,
because I give you
six different
money,
directions, but I can manage it all at once. I can see
period.
all the
Not
pieces,
because I'm easy to work with.
and I get frustrated a lot because
Period.
I
Not
see
because
things
I'm
that to me are
responsive
self-evident,
or
and other people look at
unresponsive.
me like, "What? How do you get there?" I'm like, "Well,
Period.
it's easy. Step 1, step 2, step 3, and step 32. Here we are." And um, systematic
Not
to
because you like
individual.
me.
I like to separate things
Period. Not because we're cool.
tactical and strategic.
Period. Not because autonomy is
Tactical
a good
being the
debate
right
school.
now, and strategic being the bigger picture. And from a tactical perspective, I'm very procedural, very 1, 2, 3, start step A,
A
end at step
good
C, or
debate
whatever the case may
school.
be. But in the bigger picture, it's more
Period.
muddled. It's pieces. But I see how the pieces connect together, but
Because I
I
give
could
you
never draw them
money.
in a straight line.
See,
Period.
so you feel that kind of
If
getting
I
your
were
hands
not
dirty,
giving
so
you
to
money
speak,
and you were
is
taking
what
just ownership,
actualizes the big picture for you.
Mm, sometimes, but not usually. Usually, what crystallizes the big picture
instead,
for me is the concepts of all the processes that go
comma,
into those pieces.
then
But I'm
you'd
able to
have
pull out
cause
a
to
piece and
complain.
attack just that piece at a time. But I have to focus on that, because if I don't narrow in on it, I get sidetracked on A leading to B leading to Z over here. So if it's a specific task I have to do, I really have to
Period.
focus to
As it
not
is,
drift mentally, to
comma,
look at
I don't
all
want to
the
hear
other
about
possibilities that aren't really relevant
your
to the current
frustrations
situation.
regarding this
You see,
when they're voiced
yeah, I
in
see,
that
I'm like that
fashion.
too. I have to focus. I have to make myself focus in
Period.
on one aspect. That way, I won't stay and just kind of speculate about, this
Mm-hmm.
connects here, this connects there. Like trying to, I get kind of, I get too caught up if I don't force myself to focus on one particular aspect.
Right, like that analysis paralysis is the term I've heard that
Yeah,
really
that's a good,
relates to it.
yeah,
I keep overthinking it.
yep. Analysis paralysis. Yep, that's straight. That definitely
Mm.
is. Um, it's definitely it's accurate. Um, let's see.
Fucking
Lorenzo, you have any
Abraham.
questions?
No,
Hey,
I don't have any questions.
Can
well,
you see what Abraham? Would you see what Abraham wrote in the chat?
he messaged me on Facebook. I asked him where he went,
Said
and he said
done done trying to work with you. That's what he put in the chat. Done trying to work with you.
yeah, he
Mm.
messaged me on Facebook and said, "You tell Eric I said I'm done working with him because he's unresponsive."
Well, he can give me back some money. Then he owes me some money. I gave him an advance on the rest of his paycheck till for nationals.
Um,
He's never had a job, right? He never had a real job, and so he's like, "Oh, Eric's not being responsive enough to me, so I'm gonna throw a little hissy fit." That's why I give you fucking money, dude. You're not working. Done trying to work with you. You work for me.
that's a good way to put it. But with that said, though, I have no dog in this fight.
Yeah, I know. I'm just bitching because I just got the phone fucking schooling his ass over the text. I didn't want to make it public, but now here I'm making it public anyway. Oh well. I mean, whatever. I mean, yeah, I'm not upset at him or anything. I just think it's ridiculous.
Well, during this time, I think we've actualized that Alex is an INTP, or at least that's what I'm
Are you sure
convinced
he's not an ENTP?
No, I'm not sure. Uh,
What do you think,
Alex, what?
Alex? What do you self-identify as, or do
I'm not.
you?
Yeah, or do you? Yeah, that's a good question.
I self-identify, I think, as INTP, but it's one of those things where we're two people. We're who we think we are on the inside, and we're also the person that other people see us as. And I've always had the difficult time, and I'll never be 100% knowing if I'm INTP, ISTP, or ENTP. And it's a toughie. I lean toward INTP just because I'm so introverted in that this is very strange for me, even getting on something like this. But you guys have crossed the curiosity level, got to a point to where the shyness is overridden in that case.
Well, we're super glad you joined us. I mean, it sounds to
Yeah.
me that you're talking INTP probably. The ISTP angle is an interesting one. I wish Patrick were here to get his take on that because he's a
I see a lot of NE.
ISTP. You see a lot of NE.
Yeah,
I see a
but
lot
when
of
you talk about
fightiness.
when you talk about being able to kind of connect ideas together and concepts, and you have to make your TI would be you and having to engage on one particular aspect, right?
Hmm.
That's I go through that same process, and I see a lot of NE in you where it's like see what's another aspect.
You know what strikes me is this. If you asked me what's my process for problem solving and I didn't have this set up to it, I'd probably give you some sort of answer as if I had one, right? But I don't have one. I don't have any process, you know? It
Mm.
depends on the moment. It depends entirely on the moment. I think it's possible some people do have a process. I think INTPs perhaps do have a process that they implement as sort of a scientific method approach to thinking about things. But I just bounce all over the place.
The way
That's pretty helpful
yeah.
because that's something that I'm not. I don't balance. I've got when I'm solving a known problem that I'm trying to discuss or figure out. It is a methodical process of
Yeah.
A or B, A or B, A or B constantly until I get to the end.
To
Yeah,
me,
well,
it's like
I like the
if you ask me,
parsing, but I tend to start parsing A or B. Oh, well, but B or C as well. Oh, C or D too. And then, well, let's talk about E and F
I
now.
try to get a bucket of all the different perspectives first of how to approach it, and then I choose one, and then I try to work and actualize all of them, and then pick the best one.
Mm.
Long process too that I don't think I've ever actually ended on anything, but I'm still it's an ongoing process for everything. But I think that's generally I think the first step is usually to get a kind of bird's eye view of things.
Mm.
How long am I recording this video? I'm recording this video, huh?
Yeah.
I got totally derailed by that chat message. See, like that, for example, there's no way I could possibly ignore that till later. I had to deal with it right then. You know, it was impossible to even conceive of trying to deal with that later. Now this is
Yeah,
happening.
but that's not how I operate. Yeah, I would put that towards later. Like I would it's just something that I'm
Well,
not
I
able to
was
get mixed up
mad.
with.
I was mad for that 1 second. So I had all of a sudden all my attention went onto that. you know. All
I
right,
mean, it's
30.
understandable, yeah.
That's a 30-minute video. Or 27:45. Thanks for watching Talking Famous People.